Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Bob Dzienis from eXp Realty here in Bergen County and Northern New Jersey. And guess who's back? Here she is. It's Jackie Romano. She's back with me. Very excited to have you, Jackie. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me again. So those of you that don't know Jackie, we had a prior interview, which I'll point to that in a second, but Jackie is with Realign Design here in Bergen County. So if you want to just give a quick overview of your company, Jackie, that would be awesome.
So my company is Realign Design. We're a certified professional staging and design company. We help people make the most of what is probably their biggest investment, which is their home. So we help people get their homes ready for the market by visually merchandising. So we make the most of what is probably the people's biggest investment is their home. So we will help visually merchandise the home to get it ready for the market, to appeal to the most amount of buyers, make the most of the house, make it look beautiful and perfect, and get you more money for the home. And even in this market, help sell faster. On the design part, we help people make the most of the home that they're living in. So really helping with the potential of the functionality of the home, like setting up a home office or a gym, or just refreshing the space so that you love your home again. So, color consultations and renovation.
Right? It's just everyone's home. It's like, you know what? It's drab. It depends what the situation might be. So, because we're sitting in homes all the time. So
yeah. And then our latest service that we are offering is help set up a short-term rental property.
Okay.
We can help people set up a short-term rental not only with the design piece. We help walk through the concept and how it should be set up, but also helping them set up the business. So it is a business, and little things like the restocking checklist and what it's going to look like on the listing and how to get the right photos, which we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of these things we can help from start to finish or anywhere in between where you need help.
I am psyched to have you on today. And by the way, guys, this is our prior video. So check this out. We were actually talking about setting up a home office space. So, it's the COVID times, right? We're still in this, and it's April 2021. So if you're still considering setting up that home office, make sure you go and check out that video up there. That was our first interview together, Jackie. So, and we've got more to come. So today, what we want to talk about is really just getting your home photo ready, right? So as a realtors are looking for ways to make sure that a home stands out, it markets well so that you can get a quick offer, highest and best or highest price possible for the homeowner as well. So one of the biggest aspects, one of the most critical pieces is photographs. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Something like 95% of sellers and buyers will look on the MLS first. It's the first thing that you see. It's the first thing that makes you have that instant, first impression. And do I want to go and look at this home? Do I want to spend my time and actually go and see this from what I see on the photos? So photos are absolutely imperative to be perfect.
It's unfortunate. It is what it is. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest here. That's how I roll. So, right. I mean, unfortunately, I do see if someone, let's say a realtor, might not be spending the money and they're using their phone, right? And phones can take some great photos, but sometimes you could tell it's like, oh, the lighting is not very good, or the angles are not very good, and they're not taking the time to possibly give that home what it deserves so that the owner can actually get the best price possible.
Ideally, you want to have a professional photographer come in, and there are photographers in this area who specialize only in, real estate photo, because it is different than taking a portrait. It's different than a wedding photo. It's different than any, landscape photography. It's a specialized area. So ideally, you want to have somebody who has actually trained and who has the experience doing this, because they know the angles to take. They know how to make your home look great.
Maybe we could just talk about some of the tips that you have and how you kind of help a client, whether you're talking to a realtor or, you said to me before we came on today that even homeowners are just kind of reaching out if they're thinking about putting their home on the market and using you to consult with. Is that true?
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, people looking to sell their home are going to want their home on the MLS, but there's also, the short-term rentals, the listings. have to stand out. You're, competing against other listings. So you want your photos to be good for any short-term rentals. And then sometimes, hey, we're all like, hobbyists in our photos. And some people just like taking pictures of their home. So these tips anybody could use.
So if we could, let's talk about just a couple of the tips that you, and maybe kind of take us through the process a little bit, right? So if you're working with a realtor, you're working with a client, one of the first tips that you have, oh guys, and by the way, stay tuned because Jackie has another free download. I'll give you the instructions on how to do that. So it's coming up soon. So make sure you stick to the end. We'll give you all those instructions on how to do that. So number one of the tips that you have here is about just cleaning clutter. I mean, this is something that I talk about with any homeowner that we're going to list their home. Get rid of the clutter, right? So talk a little bit about why that's important from a photograph standpoint.
Because clutter is just kind of visual noise. Think of it as just like you can see my wine in the background here. If
I want a glass, Jackie. Come on.
I know. Well, I have to have it nearby. But if I was doing like a professional, photo shoot or whatever, I would get rid of that because it just kind of adds distraction. Yeah. And when you're looking to sell your home or put your, short-term rental on a listing, you want to have the highlight and the focus be the actual space, right? And especially when you're selling your home, you're selling space. Anything little too, like little decor stuff you want to kind of get rid of because it doesn't show up as well in photos.
Okay.
So like
you're
little
not going to be able to
figurines.
see a small trinket of some sort, right?
It just doesn't. Go bigger. Go big when you're thinking about photos. And one of the tips that I have too is, when you're taking photos or if you're working with a photographer is to look through after you take the picture. Like look at how it's coming out because what you see live doesn't always translate into the photo. So when you look at the actual photo of what they have on the screen, you get a better sense of, hey, this is working or hey, this isn't.
One of the other things that we talk about here is lighting and why lighting is so important. And, I've seen many photographs that tend to have a darker view. You could tell if they're not professional. Maybe curtains aren't open or windows aren't open to let in some of that natural light. It just does not show the home very well in its best light, literally, right? So why is lighting so important?
You want to try and let in as much natural light as possible or have layered lighting. Like I have a light above me right now in the chandelier. I have natural light. The layering and the light also helps. The other thing too is that you want to try and take photos like either right after, like right around dusk or right around dawn. You don't want to take photos like midday, bright sunny day because you get a lot of shadows cast. That's something cloudier days actually work better because it's softer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. Again, this is one of those things where it may look fine when you're in the room, but then you take a picture and then all of a sudden you see like a weird shadow or a light thrown on the floor that is distracting. So, those are little things that you just want to be mindful of when you're looking at the space.
Sometimes you could tell if a photograph has been filtered, right? Sometimes the filter is almost too much, right? Like they've taken whatever they've done, because I've had customers that I've worked with, we walk into a house and it looks nothing like reality.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Like your dating profile, right? And
yeah, exactly. It's
like, to oblivion when you can't even tell, doesn't even look human anymore.
Yeah. True.
It's a pet peeve of mine because I've seen that and it's like, that looks nothing like, and then you're setting a false expectation.
Right.
We don't want to trick people into coming into the home. We want people to be excited and to see it and experience it as it is. Filters used sparingly can be good, like if you're tinting the light and just making it a little lighter and helping with the shadows and things like that, you're just kind of helping it, enhancing it a little bit, but not to the point where it's skewed, where it looks nothing like the property, and it's almost like you're misleading people. So.
Yeah. One of the tips I love on here on your document is about perspective, right? So different angles, because it's true, like if you're taking photos of something, they do tend to be at an eye level, right? And, so I put stuff on YouTube from time to time. And one of the things that I've learned on posting videos or just photos in general is trying to get maybe a higher angle or a lower angle, just a different perspective. So can you talk a little bit about why that's important?
It just makes it more interesting. It's something that I learned when I was in art school. When I did photography, most people will just like put the camera up to your eye and click.
Yeah.
And then you just get that one perspective.
Yeah.
What's on the floor, what's going on the floor, what's going on if there's a cathedral ceiling. You want to see all of those angles, and it gives a different perspective, and it gives a fresher, kind of more modern look to the photos too.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, not to say, because I've seen this too, where someone will take a picture of a corner of a floor.
Yeah.
Like it's a fine line to show perspective, and
that's
then
the dog view, right? That's the dog or cat's view.
Your cat will love this floor.
Right. No, absolutely. But like maybe from, I don't know, somewhere in the kitchen, somewhere from the island or whatever it might be, just to give that visual interest.
So I love a good vignette, because I think it just adds a little, hominess and, characteristic.
Right.
Or even just a shot that you have something kind of blurred in the background.
Yeah.
So setting up a shot where you have something in the foreground that you're focusing on, and then maybe something in the background.
You would kind of throw in some of those chunkier elements, I guess, just to give it visual appeal.
Or color too, to add a little color. Throws, just the throw blankets. Like a throw is a great. I always have that in my kit.
Okay.
To put either in the living room or the bed, or even a chair, like a little reading nook. That's great. Baskets work great because they have that textural element too, and it adds interest.
Because I did want to talk a little bit about how you work with a client in regards to your service, right? So how would you work with a realtor? How would you work with a homeowner in prepping them for photographs, I guess? Like, what's your process? What does that look like?
We have a photo prep session, or we do offer a photo prep session. But this comes after they've been through the consultation for staging. So typically a realtor will reach out, or even a homeowner, and say, hey, got a house going to be going on the market. You come and do a walkthrough. So we do a consultation. It's like a 2-hour consultation where we walk through the entire house from start to finish.
Okay.
Give them recommendations. We also meet with the client and talk about their budget, timing, all those things too, right? So from there, they have a list of their to-do list to get ready for the market, or they can hire us back to, actually help them with the staging. So then photo day, before they come in, we can offer a photo prep session, which will help get the house ready. So, these are all people living in their homes most of the time. So they're, it's everyday life. It's the dogs, it's the cats, it's the kids. Things don't stay perfect, So what we do is come in and make it perfect for those photos.
You want all this done. I mean, this really should be done before the photographer comes, right?
The photo prep has to be done before the photographer gets there. So we would come in and, make sure that everything is set. The vignettes are set, the pillows are set, the throws are set, everything is where it should be, looking good. We move the garbage out of the way, because in the perfect house, there's no garbage and there's no plunger in the bathroom, and, all of that.
By the way, the toilet seat is down.
Toilet seat is down. Yeah.
That drives me crazy when I see a toilet seat up.
Yeah, and shower curtain, clothes, like all these little details that when you're living in the house, you're not going to keep up with, right?
Yeah.
So, but we want it perfect for the photos, because those are going on the MLS, or they're going in your listing for your short-term rental. You want it to be perfect because they're going to live there, for a while.
One question I wanted to ask you: if someone has, as part of their homework, right, you've determined, okay, there's a lot of clutter, right, and you kind of have to kind of clean it up a little bit. What do you tell people to do with their stuff? Right? If it's a lot of stuff, like you dump it in closets, like how do you kind of,
No, you do not dump it in the closets.
Okay.
So it depends, on how much stuff. I mean, we work with a lot of professional organizers. So if there's, someone's been in their house 30 something years and they just have a lot of stuff and it's overwhelming, or they're downsizing, I could always recommend somebody to work with to help them get organized. If it's the typical stuff, either pack it up and either do a storage unit, or usually a garage is a good space. I would not put it in the closets, because people walking through your home looking for closet space, they don't want to see, they open up the door and it's like, oh my God, there's no room in here. And you don't want to give that impression. You want to give an impression of there's plenty of room for your stuff in this home.
So anything else in regards to the prep that we didn't talk about, photo prep, that we want to mention?
I think we covered it. The clutter is definitely, one of the big things. And then setting up the shot, adding texture, giving it perspective, really highlighting the best parts of your home. make sure if, like I said, if you have a great fireplace, make sure you get that great outdoor space, get that, or just built-ins too. You have really cool built-ins. That's something that you want to, anything that's unique or really special about your home. And it's probably something that you loved about your home when you bought it.
So anything else that we've missed, or I mean, these are pretty much the things to consider to get your home ready, right, for photographs.
Instagram ready, MLS ready,
Yeah.
short-term, listing ready.
Jackie has that free downloadable document that you can go into the description. So I have all that information down there for you. I've got Jackie's website there as well. So if you're looking for consultative services from Realign Design, definitely reach out to Jackie. She's here in Bergen County. And, she'd be happy to answer any questions and have a consultation possibly as well. So not just for homeowners, but realtors as well. So, and Jackie, by the way, what's that top bottle on the wine rack there? Not the white one, the other one.
Oh.
Is that a Cabernet? Like, what is that?
This is a Bordeaux.
Oh, excuse me. I'm a big wine guy, so.
We'll have to have a celebratory glass when we conclude our series here.
Absolutely.
When we get into our next, our fifth one.
Absolutely, I agree. Sounds good to me. All right, so Jackie, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and we will collaborate on another one soon. And thanks again to all of you for watching. We really appreciate it. Again, I'm Bob Dzienis. This is Jackie Romano with Realign Design, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye.